If you're a fan of Japanese cars, this is the video for you. There's more than a couple dozen incoming Japanese cars that are really going to satiate the appetite of off-roaders, minivan lovers like myself, sports car lovers. There's a lot of cool stuff coming from Japan in the next couple years. In this video, we're going to go over the top 25 Japanese cars that are worth waiting for. And we're right before the Japan Mobility Show. We're in late summer 2025 Japan Mobility Show. I'll be heading back to Japan this year to give you guys coverage on a lot of these cars that are going to be there. Not all of them, but some of the most important models will be there with more production ready information. So if you guys are excited, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because I will never stop giving you guys updates on what's right around the corner for these Japanese automakers. Best Car Magazine, the most reliable source of information for upcoming cars out of Japan, has essentially this showcase for us, and we're going to break this down. Not all of these models will come to the United States, unfortunately, but there's a ton in here that, of course, are coming to the United States. All right, this one in the middle is actually where the article starts with. All right, you see the front ends of all these different models that we're going to talk about today, but this showcase starts with this new Mitsubishi Montero / Pajero, depending on where you're at in the world. And I have great news. Now, I've also covered it here on the channel because Spy Shots came out of Europe first, but look at this. Spy Shots in my own neck of the woods. This is my area code 239. This is Southwest Florida. This isn't Fort Myers. This is Kendall Auto, who covers Spy Shots. He got a hold of this, and if they're not bringing this Montero back to the United States, then why would they be testing it here in Florida? It makes no sense whatsoever, and it's multiple models, and I can't tell what's behind the second Montero back here. Now, some people are saying, hey, this is just the Montero Sport or the Pajero Sport. This isn't the full size. We don't know 100%, to be honest, but let's see what Best Car is saying about it. Now, Best Car is saying that this Montero, even though it's just been spied here in the United States, is going to be for the Southeast Asian, Oceania market, Latin America, Middle East, Africa, etc. So United States, North America could be that, etc. From late July. Again, translations, that could be July of next year. I mean, typically when we see spy shots, though, like this, with this sort of camouflage, we're probably about 6 months away before this comes to our market. So there's a possibility that we could see it early 2026. That's what I'm going to say. They're saying that it is based off the Triton pickup truck, which was redesigned a couple years ago. Of course, we don't get the Triton pickup truck because of tariffs, because of the chicken tax. Since it is more than likely based off the Triton and not any sort of Mitsubishi partnership like Nissan, it's not anything similar to, for example, the Patrol / Armada. They're saying that it's going to have a small diesel engine, a 2.4 liter diesel. In the United States, there's no way. Now, Best Car is also saying that this will have plug-in hybrid options. I have no idea. The powertrains on this is a complete mystery to me, but from what you're seeing here, this is a really strong indicator of what this vehicle is going to look like. If it comes to the market here in the United States, which it looks like it's almost guaranteed at this point, it's going to sell really well. It's going to help Mitsubishi out immensely. And if you guys like body on frame, make sure to stay tuned, because the TRD Pro 4Runner just arrived in my driveway, and it's way uglier than what we see on the screen here. The TRD Pro 4Runner. Oh man, the 4Runner is just so ugly now, but that's just my opinion. All right, shall we move on to the next vehicle? Because otherwise, if I spend too much time on the Montero or any of these models, we will be here for hours. Next up are two new brothers from Toyota's Gazoo Racing Performance Division, the highly anticipated Celica / MR2. We're not 100% sure what it's going to be called. More than likely Celica, because Toyota has confirmed that Celica nameplate is coming back, but they have not confirmed MR2. They're both going to have the new 2-liter turbo, just in different configurations. This is mid-engine, on the top. This is obviously front engine, rear wheel drive at the bottom. All right, now this is some exciting stuff here. They're saying that we're going to see 400 horsepower of the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo on the MR2, 500 horsepower on the Supra, because the Supra is going to be hybridized. However, they're saying the Supra could very well have a manual hybrid, but the MR2 will have manual, of course, and automatic. If I were a betting man, I would say if the Supra is hybridized, I don't see a manual being an option. It would be really cool. But it's probably just going to be 8-speed auto only, where the MR2 will have a manual option alongside the 8-speed auto. All right. Now, the Supra will be rear-wheel drive, while the MR2/Celica will be 4-wheel drive, kind of like the GR Corolla, for example. All right. They're saying that the Supra is actually expected before the MR2 Celica. That is crazy. And the Celica will cost more than the Supra, despite it being down on power. Maybe because it's mid-engine, Toyota thinks they can charge more for it. That's just their guess. Now, this is also the rumor going around. There is a Mazda coupe that could be co-developed alongside the new Supra. And while they're saying this is 2-liter hybrid with a carbon fiber propeller shaft and all that goodness, they're saying that it might be inline six. So this is one of the biggest mysteries of all the cars we're talking about today, is the new Supra. Are they going to do hybrid, manual 4-cylinder turbo, or are they going to collaborate with Mazda and come out with a performance inline six setup like the Supra has always had a performance inline six? So it's really weird. We'll see what actually happens. I think a lot of you guys would like to see a Mazda brother of the Supra. I think it would be cool. I could care less for an inline 4 hybrid, regardless of how good and how high performance it is. I'd rather have an inline 6 in a Supra for old time's sake. Work with Mazda if you need to make it happen. Speaking of Mazda, next vehicle on the list is the RX. Well, they're calling it RX-7. Who knows what it'll be called? But they're saying it's coming in 2027 potentially. Front engine, rear wheel drive. It's not going to be like the iconic sports vehicle, iconic SP that was debuted at the Japan Mobility Show 2023, because it's not going to be a rotary range extender, plug-in hybrid sort of thing. No, this is going to be a true rotary with a manual. However, it'll be rotary hybrid manual. They're saying 6-speed automatic or 6-speed manual transmission. 370 horsepower sounds fantastic to me from a dual rotor turbo hybrid sort of Frankenstein thing that we're going to have going on here. It's going to be awesome. 600 million to 700 million yen. My guess would be it would start around $50,000 for an RX-7 return. We'll see if they call it RX-7. They could call it RX-9, for example. All right. But I'm all for rotary coming back. Even though it's currently available in the MX-30 range extender in other markets, I would love to see this vehicle with the shape, of course. I don't care what they put into it, because they nailed the design on this vehicle. Notice how they have the little, from the RX-8, they had the little rotary badge on the side. But anyway, shall we move on to the next one? Next one is going to get a lot of you guys excited here, because we're talking about the new BRZ/FRS/GR86. This is going to be great to have still the continuation, a third generation of this affordable sports car that's highly tunable. All right. They're going to be scrapping Subaru's lead on development here. They're not using a boxer engine anymore. It's going to be a naturally aspirated variant of the Celica and Supra's 2-liter engine. All right. So in terms of power, I don't know if they mention anything. If turbo can reach 400, I would say it's going to be where it's at now, around 225 to 230 horsepower. You can't get a whole lot more out of a 2-liter displacement from the factory. In fact, that might be a little high. Maybe it's closer to 200 horsepower. We'll see. I mean, that might even be a little bit high for a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, because the current one is a 2.4 with around 228 horsepower. So we'll see what kind of performance they can squeeze out of this naturally aspirated variant of this G20E engine. And they're saying this is an all-new platform made by Toyota and Lexus. This platform is going to be shared with the new combustion Lexus IS. So if you thought the IS is going fully electric, well, we don't have confirmation officially yet, but the IS, it'd be so sad if it got discontinued as an internal combustion car and went fully electric. Of course, front engine, rear wheel drive manual is going to carry over, and it will be built almost entirely by Toyota, developed mostly by Toyota, and Subaru will have their own spin-off model as well. So pretty exciting stuff there. Down below is a couple hatchbacks I would kill to have stateside. The top one is the new Suzuki Swift Sport, and you could see these in the spring of 2026. And the one below that is the Starlet, the GR Starlet specifically, and that could have a 1.4. Wait, this might be new here. A 1.4 liter inline 4 turbo with a 48 volt mild hybrid. That thing would kick some pants in such a small vehicle. I don't know if they have any numbers on performance, but if it got close to 200 horsepower, this thing would be an absolute hoot. Absolute hoot. Pocket rocket, tiny 5-door little liftback. I highly doubt we would see it in the United States. Actually, I know we would never see it in the United States. This is just one of those vehicles we can lust over. Here's some stuff we do get in the United States, and this will be coming. This is the GRMN Yaris and GRMN Corolla. They're saying it's going to debut in the spring of 2026. They're currently testing this sort of vehicle. Now, is it going to use the new 2-liter turbo that's going to be in the Supra and the Celica? I have no idea, but they're increasing the welding spots to make it more rigid. They are going to be using more carbon fiber. I saw a prototype of this at Eagles Canyon Raceway at ToyotaCon this year, HQC 2025, technically is what it's called. It will have an automatic, maybe standard. I hope not. I hope 6-speed manual is available here on the GRMN models. Expect higher performance tires, and probably a slightly up-tuned 1.6 liter 3-cylinder turbo. As much as I'd like to see the 2-liter turbo in here, I don't think it would happen. All right, this one, ladies and gentlemen, the LFR, I am very excited for. Now, it could be called the Toyota GT3 sports car, but it has been shown to Lexus dealers. I don't think they would pull it away from Lexus. Lexus needs a replacement for the RCF and the GT3 racing class. This vehicle is a prime candidate. It's been designed to be a GT3 race car. What else are they saying about it? Oh, about 900 horsepower, something like that, and its most aggressive plug-in hybrid trim, but it will be a twin-turbo V8. We know it's just shown at the Goodwood Festival's speed, so we can't be too far away from this vehicle being announced, and I think it will be announced at Japan Mobility Show this fall. So make sure you're glued to the channel because we're really close to having official specs and official launch and official details on this LFA performance successor. Not successor in the terms of exclusivity and V10, but in terms of performance, this is the next thing from Toyota on the top end, the highest echelon of performance. All right, so next vehicle here is the replacement for the LC 500 and the RC. It's going to be a combination model here. And again, they said that this platform could be potentially shared with the Supra / Mazda. If Mazda does have its own carbon copy of the Supra, they're saying that this is also going to have a similar platform to the new BRZ / GR86. It is a 4-seater, so a 2+2. They're saying that the RC is ended production January 2025, and the RC is being integrated with the flagship, the current flagship, that is the LC. And they are, like the Supra, they are expecting a turbo 4 hybrid. But they're saying a 3.5 liter hybrid, 3.5 liter V6 hybrid is also a possibility. That one's harder for me to believe, honestly, but they could do it. They're saying that a BEV will likely be added. I'm assuming that this new platform is flexible enough to have a BEV variant on top of their hybrid or gasoline variants. And they're also expecting that it could be a convertible like the LC500. This is a perfect candidate and a perfect vehicle for Lexus to bring back the SC naming. Lexus' first coupe was SC300/400, which was a Supra, right? A Lexus or a Toyota, what was it? The Toyota Soarer, because Lexus didn't exist over in Japan at the time. So it's a perfect opportunity to bring back the SC naming. The last SC was, this Riviera, French Riviera designed yacht looking thing. And my friend David Chow has one. He loves it. I know people who love those things. They're really funky looking. And that makes it unique. All right. But this thing, it's a perfect opportunity to bring back the SC naming because it will be sharing a lot with the new Supra. What do we have below? Can we get hyped for more Subaru? Subaru WRX is essentially dead in America. They're not really sending any over, not producing. I don't know what to expect for the WRX, but they're saying that currently the S4 in Japan only comes with the CVT. That's a joke. But they're saying over in Japan that the S4 WRX is getting a manual transmission. Okay, so anyways, Subaru just ain't got a clue right now. This vehicle, this is going to be the replacement for the current WRX, more than likely. It will be a 5-door, and they're saying it could be an STI. Do you think that they're going to bring back WRX STI and bring it into the liftback here? I just don't want to get my hopes up for anything Subaru nowadays. Ooh, this vehicle I would absolutely love if it came to the market. They're saying it could be coming in 2027. I saw this little vehicle, the new Copen, down below at the Japan Mobility Show. I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. I wanted to drive it. And they're saying that the Cappuccino, Suzuki Cappuccino, could come back in 2027 as a clone to this. And Toyota have their own version as well called the SFR. Well, that's what the concept was called back in 2015. Is Toyota going to bring this to the United States? I have not a clue, and it's highly unlikely because of, regulations, safety regulations here. So they're saying a 1.3 liter 3-cylinder turbo, that's probably a Suzuki engine would be my guess. And that would be pretty sick. Suzuki's Hayabusa, I think, is a 1.3 liter, but it's not turboed, and that's going to rev a lot higher than these car engines. So we could only get our hopes up, but hey, guys, you don't need to wait for this vehicle. You know why? The Mazda Miata exists in the United States, and that's all you need. It's good to have competition, though, and I wish Toyota would bring it here. Now we're talking about some BEV flagships, and who knows what's going to happen to the development with BEV flagships. You have a lot of the Germans too, but the Italian supercar makers and even Aston saying there's no demand for electric supercars or hypercars. Nobody wants them. They want internal combustion engine for that elite experience. Okay, hybridization, sure, but not fully a battery electric. The development of these 3 supercars or hypercars, I don't know how fast they're going to be. I mean, Toyota has said this is a sub 2 seconds 0 to 60 car. That's fast enough. This would require solid-state batteries. Who knows when that would ever arrive? And both of these vehicles, the new NSX and the new GTR, it's just anyone's guess when these would come out. For independent torque vectoring motors, like 4 motors, 1 for each wheel, would make sense for these vehicles. I don't know if anyone would be interested in a battery electric GTR or NSX. I know I would like to drive it, but it's not what enthusiasts want. It's okay to offer high performance battery electric vehicles, but not at the sacrifice of the internal combustion engine, in my opinion, when we're talking about performance cars. They're saying 2028 here. I'll believe it when I see it. 2027, I'm going to say no way in heck, unless it's just such a small batch vehicle, because we know Toyota's solid state batteries are the holy grail that just keeps slipping through their fingers in terms of production. Now, Honda and Nissan are both working on solid state batteries as well, but producing them at a high scale and at a high rate, no one's figured it out yet to be cost effective. So yeah, who cares about these things? That's what I'm saying. Oh, now we're getting some exciting stuff here. The new Levorg. Now, unfortunately, the Levorg does not come stateside. And we got some cool stuff we're also going to talk about in today's video with the baby Land Cruiser and the new Corolla. Yes, this is a Corolla wagon. And anyways, I don't want to spoil it too much. But the Levorg is coming as a redesign probably in the fall of 2026. It's going to be a strong hybrid 2.5 liter that we see in arriving in Subaru's lineup right now. However, they will keep an STI model that has a 2.4 turbo. They're also going to say that there's going to be another mid-grade 1.8 turbo hybrid Model 2. It's exciting. I would love to have the Levorg here. I love wagons. You know, Subaru has the new Outback coming out, but it's not a true wagon. It's essentially a hopped up and lifted crossover at this point. All right. So what about the vehicle below? Well, this one's quite exciting for Toyota. Unfortunately, we don't get the Venza anymore, which was a rebadging of the JDM market Harrier. But just because we don't get it doesn't mean we won't see this technology come at some point. Could Toyota bring back the Venza for the third time? Yeah, but it would be the butt end of jokes. And I say that with tongue in cheek because Venza in Japanese means toilet seat. Okay, the Harrier will get a full model change here in 2027 now. It will have a hybrid 1.5 turbo. Expect around 225 horsepower out of that, something like that, maybe more. And then a plug-in hybrid 1.5 turbo 4-cylinder. These next generation engines are very highly anticipated. We've talked about the 2-liter next-gen engine coming in the Celica, the Supra, the BRZ. Well, now this is a smaller implementation of a next-gen engine with the 1.5 turbo 4-cylinder. It has the engine has low height, small volume, allowing you to keep the engine hood low for improving aerodynamics. Expected around 180 horsepower, they're saying, in turbo hybrid fashion. Actually, no, that's just the engine. With the hybrid, it could crack 200 horsepower. You got to keep in mind, they don't want to go down on performance. Currently, the Venza has a 219 horsepower hybrid setup with a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter. They're losing a whole liter of displacement, but this engine is more advanced and it has a turbo. So they should be able to crack 220 horsepower, no problem. There will be all-wheel drive, similar to what we have now with the e-axle in the back. And they're saying there could be a low-cost front engine, no all-wheel drive variant as well. So we'll see where this is priced at, maybe $45,000 when it comes to the market. But no chance of it coming stateside. However, you could see this 1.5 turbo in Europe more than likely before the United States, where emissions regulations are more strict. I could see Toyota just hanging on to that 2.5 liter, that bulletproof 2.5 liter that they have currently in the RAV4 and the Camry hybrids, and just letting that ride as long as they possibly can. I don't think this would get a whole lot better fuel economy with this 1.5 turbo versus the 2.5 naturally aspirated, but it's possible. Only time will tell. All right, let's move on to the next one. Many of you guys have been waiting for this. The Land Cruiser FJ, the mini Land Cruiser. Spring of 2026, it's been delayed. It was supposed to be coming out this year, and announced before that. It's just, this is a sort of vehicle that a lot of people are probably losing interest in. And I still don't think it's going to come to the United States, unfortunately. They're saying a 2.7 liter naturally aspirated gas engine. That engine we used to see in the Tacoma, previous generations of the Tacoma. Other markets will see a 2.8 liter diesel implementation. 6-speed automatic, ladder frame, so body on frame. And it's more than likely going to be built in Thailand or possibly Indonesia. So we just, with that sort of production, and it's just unlikely. It's very unlikely it would come here. Now, if they also have co-production in Japan for something like this, then it could come to the United States. Could they make it domestically? And the answer is they absolutely freaking should at the Alabama plant where they make the Corolla Cross. How about this replaces the Corolla Cross? We don't need the Corolla Cross here. It's a very compromised vehicle. Have this compete against something like Ford Bronco Sport, even though this is more substantial. This is a body on frame vehicle. I just don't want to get my hopes up or your hopes up for this vehicle coming to the United States. It's more than likely built off the Hilux Champ platform, which just is never going to make it stateside. All right, this is a vehicle that could come back to the United States. This is the Nissan Elgrand. We haven't spoken much about Nissan in this video today. The Nissan Elgrand could absolutely come back to the United States. I think it should, as the Nissan Quest. Minivans are hot right now. This would have e-Power, a 1.5 turbo charged 4-cylinder hybrid. Fuel efficiency has gone up 20% versus the current e-Power Elgrand. Let's see here. Fuel efficiency, high speeds up 25% as well, or 20%, I should say. The Sienna needs competition. The Carnival needs competition on the hybrid market. And we just need more variations and more competition in general in the minivan market stateside. I don't want to get my hopes up for it, but we deserve a new minivan from Nissan. Currently, if you want a 3-row, you got to spend big money on a body on frame Armada. You got to spend a little bit of money. You don't have to spend that much money to get yourself into a V6 Pathfinder, thank God. But sliding doors and more cargo space and more passenger space in a Nissan Quest is the answer for families. And we just don't have that from Nissan right now. And it's really, really unfortunate stateside. So I've told Nissan that I want the Quest back with the next generation Elgrand coming in 2026, but I don't think we're going to get it, sadly. All right, you guys like Corolla. Let's talk next-gen Corolla and all the different variations of the Corolla that are coming. They're saying Corolla Cross, Corolla hopped up wagon, as you see here. A slammed wagon is a GR Corolla wagon. Wagons are popular in Japan, as we've talked about in the Levorg. Would we see the Corolla wagon come to the United States? And the answer is I pray to God more than any other. I mean, it's up there with the Elgrand to me in terms of all the vehicles we've talked about that I want in the United States so bad. Of course, the FJ Cruiser, probably not going to come with the Baby Land Cruiser. I mean, all the sports cars are pretty much coming. But this one, as the Corolla as a wagon has to come. I don't think Toyota's going to do it. So anyways, we have the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder in here. That is a next generation engine, but it is going to be naturally aspirated. Unlike in the Harrier where they're going to be using turbo hybrid, this will be naturally aspirated hybrid. They're going to have a Sprinter Carib. That's what you see at the top of the screen to compete with the Crosstrek. That sounds pretty badass. They're saying that the GR Yaris and GR Corolla's 1.6 liter turbo 300 horsepower 3-cylinder engine will be coming in the GR Corolla wagon. I would lose my mind, and it would be 4-wheel drive. Oh man, I don't want. They're thinking it could be called the Caldina. They're just called the Caldina, and then the Sprinter Carib for the Japanese markets. Here in the United States, it would just be GR Corolla wagon, and whatever they would call this, just Corolla. Maybe this is a next generation Corolla Cross. Could we see the Corolla Cross as it is discontinued and then just bring in this. And I pray to God, again, that would happen, because the Corolla Cross is very compromised in terms of rear passenger space and overall usability. Give us this instead of the Corolla Cross, and I will make a financial reason to buy one. But again, don't want to get my hopes up. So they're talking about a plug-in hybrid as well for this. I mean, just think 60, 70 miles of EV range, 50 plus mile per gallon after that. I mean, this thing would be amazing for families, amazing for enthusiasts. Toyota, please make it happen. And then you don't have to spend any money in developing another Corolla Cross, because that vehicle, other than the hybrid's fine on it, but the non-hybrid just sucks. Sorry if I hurt anyone's feeling out there. The CVT, naturally aspirated Corolla Cross, is not good. It's not a good car. Let's get into another Mazda here, the CX-3. It could elude our market because we get the CX-30 here, but Mazda could blend the CX-3 and the CX-30 together. We know that this vehicle will be made in Thailand and Southeast Asia. Could Mazda also make it in Mexico, in Japan, and send it to the United States? That's a possibility, but don't want to get my hopes up for a CX-3. More than likely, we would just get the CX-30 redesign. Here's a Hilux Champ and a Hilux redesign. What is Best Car saying about a Hilux? A lot of you guys ask about a Hilux because I have a lot of global viewers. 48-volt mild hybrid turbo diesel. I mean, that's what they kind of have right now. Let's see here. Production could come for this 2026, and it will be on the new F platform for Toyota. There will be a GR Sport version of it as well. That's what you see on the screen. And what about the Hilux Champ? Well, they're saying the Hilux Champ could be debuted in Japan, produced in Thailand, exported to Japan from Thailand. And that could be coming to Japan in 2026. Unfortunately, we don't get a cheap $15,000 truck from Toyota anymore. Safety regulations, emissions regulations, tariffs, you name it. There's a gajillion reasons. Oh, speaking of minivans, boy, am I excited. Mitsubishi's bringing the Delica back to the United States. I think it only existed here in low volume for a couple of years, but the Delica is coming in as a plug-in hybrid. And bravo, as much as I want the Elgrand, hey, I'm okay with this. I'm very, very happy that this is coming, 100% coming to the United States as a very capable plug-in hybrid minivan. The only minivan plug-in hybrid that I'm aware of on the market right now is the Pacifica, and I didn't like the Pacifica plug-in hybrid. I'm sure the V6 is perfectly fine. You take a next generation of the Outlander's plug-in hybrid, and you put it in a minivan with sliding doors, I would just lose my mind. Now, as I'm looking at this, can they package it well enough to make sure you have minivan cargo capacity? If they can, it's going to be something that I might have to buy it. I might have to buy it because this is kind of what I've been asking for. Plug-in hybrid minivan with little compromise. All right. And I have high hopes that Mitsubishi could build a high quality Delica that could just rock my socks. They're calling this a significantly improved version of the Outlander's 2.4 plug-in hybrid. But they don't say anything outside of that. They don't say what kind of range. They don't say what kind of power. It's coming in the fall of 2026. So we're about a year away. I wouldn't be surprised if we get from Mitsubishi at the Japan Mobility Show more information on this beautiful minivan. All right, next car is the Starlet. We're talking about this standard Starlet here. We don't get any GAB platform vehicles here like the Yaris, for example. So not going to even focus on that. Here's them talking about the Subaru Wilderness models and the Outback, the Crosstrek, the Forester. Yeah, we already get them, so whatever. Not worth talking about. Here's some cute K cars. Again, not worth talking about because we're not going to get this Suzuki, what do they call it? The Suzuki Wagon R and the Suzuki Alto. One of them is going to be fully electric. That's pretty neat. If you look at the bottom of the screen, The Hiace, I would also lose my mind if we got the Hiace stateside. The new Hiace, which could be a BEV, but I'm sure they would have hybrid and plug-in hybrids of it. That's coming in 2027, the new Hiace. And then look at this, the Koyoi Bako. This thing would kick pants as well, but it needs to be a hybrid. And it debuted as a battery electric, but they're saying it's going to have that Corolla 1.5 liter naturally aspirated hybrid. Oh, man. That gets me salivating, especially if they made a passenger version of it. However, it's really going to be tailored for the Japanese market, I think, and as a commercial van. You can make it whatever you want, though. Essentially, this van, it's kind of, think of it as a mini e-Transit or something like that. Not going to come to the United States, I don't think, as much as I fangirl over it. The CX-5, all the buttons are gone for the climate control. The buttons are gone. No rotary dial, no volume knob. I don't believe. It's just, it's pretty, but they've reduced the user experience to a more frustrating one. Whoa, let's talk about some MX-5. You guys know I could talk about MX-5 all day. Spirit Racing Roadster. They're saying that, well, it's limited. It's currently in Japan as a limited production. We don't get it. The Patrol, we're getting the new Patrol / Armada Nismo, so that's exciting. They're talking about the kicks. We already get the kicks. Now we're talking about, and we're winding it down, guys. We're winding it down. Nissan Leaf, I will be driving it next month, so stay tuned for my driving impressions on the new Nissan Leaf. I'm really excited. They need to nail the pricing because it's not going to get the help of the EV tax credit, and it's coming from Japan, which 15% import tariff. Yikes. This vehicle is a Suzuki brother. It's essentially built by Suzuki, obviously, but it's called the Vitara. Toyota calls it the Urban Cruiser. Okay, it's built in India, exported to Europe. All right. Some EVs from Honda that I would love to have, but we're not going to get them. They call this a super EV concept. Look at the wide body on this cute little K car. It could come to Europe. Both of these, the N1 EV, but what is it called? The Super EV concept. No, Honda's like, no, we're going to give you these crazy looking things. I'm excited for them because they might kick ass, but they also are going to kick your wallet. These 0 Series EVs could be quite pricey, very pricey. Osmo AI, built in Marysville, Ohio. I toured that plant in February of this year, but essentially these are delayed. This one was supposed to enter production first half of 2025, and maybe it's not. Acura RSX is entering production end of 2025, but they're saying it won't be available to dealers till second half of 2026. So there's a multi-month gap between production starting and availability. So if this starts production, this one starts production first, this one after, we might not see this vehicle till 2027, and this one late 2027, possibly 2028. So don't get your hopes up for these vehicles coming out in 2026. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I don't want to get my hopes up. I'll just say that much. All right. Do we have anything else? We have one more page here, and then we are shutting this down. This was kind of the electric Supra that debuted at the Japan Mobility Show, kind of the electric RAV4, the FT3E. They're saying that these could debut in 2026. It's not coming. They're not coming. They're not coming. Maybe for Europe in small volumes. And I think Toyota might be building an EV factory, or at least EV production in their Turkey plant for Europe. But it's just not worth it. Here's the Urban Cruiser. That's the brother of the vehicle we talked about earlier, this thing. Anyways, this LFZL could be coming late this decade. They say 27. No, it's not happening because this is coming in 2027. The LFZC, think of it an electric IS with too many screens on the inside. This is delayed at least a year because it was supposed to come out in 2026. This vehicle might be coming for Japan in 2026. I can guarantee it's coming in January, February timeframe here in 2025. This thing is fast, 0 to 60 in how fast? Like 3 3.5, 4 seconds, something crazy, because it has like a 400 horsepower or something, this dual motor trail seeker. The Toyota variant is the BZ Woodland. I'm all for wagons. I don't care if they're electric or not. Bring me more wagons. The Fila, this thing is too expensive. It's going to start at 80 to 90K stateside. That's an absolute joke of a price. I know it has cool sensors all over the car from Sony, but who's buying electric sedans that will not be, if it competes with a Lucid, great. But guess what? Lucid's not doing great financially. It's not like they're making money off of their expensive, efficient, and incredible electric sedans. There's just a very small market for that. All the sedan markets are shrinking essentially, especially when you get to the more expensive sedans. I don't know why they decided to do a sedan first, a Fila, a Sony Honda Mobility. It just makes no sense. Beautiful car. I liked it when I sat in the Japan Mobility Show. It seems like a quality car. That's not, it's just, I don't think it's going to work. Uncharted. This is Subaru's rebadging of the CHR. Okay. So I'm going to finish it there, guys. What are you most excited about of these vehicles? LFR, the new Corolla. It's really ugly, but hopefully it doesn't look like that. It'll have more of a hammerhead design. I don't know why it looks like this. It'll have a more traditional hammerhead design. The Delica, give me more. The Harrier, the new sports car from Mazda rotary engine, the new Supra, the new Celica, the FJ Cruiser Mini. So many cars coming out, as well. Mitsubishi's full-size Pajero Montero is going to kick butt too. I cannot wait for what's coming. Hopefully Subaru can get their act together with this vehicle, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for it. And, oh man, bring the Daihatsu Copen to the United States. That would be sick too. But I'll see you in the comments. There's a lot to talk about here, a lot to unpack. This is going to be a long video for me to edit, and that's okay. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.